This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as an option for the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Wednesday, September 11th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 795 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gutler, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Kyle Yeager over Marijuana Moment grabs our top spot today with a pickup of a letter sent by the National Institutes of Health and the Food and Drug Administration to Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii, stating that they believed that academic researchers should be able to purchase cannabis from legal marijuana dispensaries in order to carry out research, rather than having to rely solely on government-approved cultivators, which really just means the University of Mississippi, which has been growing crappy government weed since the 1970s. The Drug Enforcement Administration has been ordered to process applications to add more licensed cultivators, but that agency has been slow walking that every step of the way. The story was first reported on by Politico's new cannabis newsletter, which you can find a link to over at Kyle's piece, which nicely rounds out the storyline. The letter to Senator Schatz comes as a response to an earlier request for more information made back in March. California Senate Bill 51, a proposed measure to set up a state-run banking system for the state's legal cannabis businesses, has been officially withdrawn from consideration by its main sponsor, State Senator Robert Hertzberg, who said he wasn't sure why his legislation wasn't being moved for further consideration and a vote, and who vowed to return with the same piece of legislation in the next session. This is one of our industry's more pressing logistical issues to solve, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen in the Golden State anytime soon. Our final top story today is an exclusive piece by Alan Brockstein over at New Cannabis Ventures that Canadian marijuana giant Tilray plans to sell up to $400 million in stock, pending a few technical boxes being checked. Tilray said that it will offer the new stock via investment firm Cowen and Company. You can pop over to Alan's story to read more here and to jump into Tilray's 8K filing, released yesterday after the close of the market. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. Check out today's super stellar daily deal, which gives you 35% off the cost of select items from Jetty, Happy Sticks, and Emerald Sky when you use the discount code DEALS. As in, check out all the great deals found on Ease's Daily Deals section, which sits right above the rest of Ease's properly tested, packaged, and labeled legal cannabis products, all of which land at your door in less than an hour after you hit submit in the parts of California and Portland, Oregon, where Ease is active, assuming, of course, that it's during legal delivery hours. Find out for yourself just how easy legal cannabis delivery can be with ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, and easewellness.com, which has tons of professionally curated hemp-derived CBD products that land in your mailbox just 4 to 6 business days after you order. Big thanks to everyone at Ease for the support that keeps our news lights on. All right, time for the Blitz. A medical marijuana dispensary in Detroit, Michigan is taking an interesting angle on the recent proposed ban on e-cigarettes in that state by offering its customers a free THC or CBD vape cartridge in exchange for a to-be-banned e-cigarette. The Greenhouse Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center, as dispensaries are known in Michigan, said it will give away up to $50,000 in vape cartridges as part of its promotion. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has announced that New York medical marijuana dispensaries will soon have to post warning signs to customers over the dangers of using vaporizers. Governor Cuomo, who urged New Yorkers last week to avoid vaporizers entirely while the issue was being investigated, said that state officials will also subpoena 3 companies suspected of selling vaporizer additives thought to be the cause of some of the reported health issues. The new soon-to-be-required warnings will read, quote, "Vaping can expose you to toxic chemicals and kill you," unquote. Drug reform activists in Oregon have filed a citizens' ballot initiative to decriminalize the simple possession of all drugs. In order to land on the 2020 ballot, the proposed measure, called the Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act, needs to ultimately garner 112,020 valid signatures of support and would reduce the possession of small amounts of any drug to a civil offense, where people would see at most a $100 fine with no jail time. The initiative is being driven by Anthony Johnson, a respected drug reform advocate who was also the chief petitioner for Oregon's 2014 ballot measure that legalized adult use marijuana. Best of luck there. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week plots the projected growth of Utah's soon-to-launch medical marijuana program. A researcher at the University of Utah School of Medicine plotted two scenarios that has the total pool of registered patients growing to around 50,000 people over 5 years, close to 2% of the state's population, which is similar to what the states of Florida and Maryland saw in the first 2 years of their programs. Medical marijuana patients should start to see medical cannabis available for sale sometime next spring. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is doubling down on her opposition to legal industrial hemp with an op-ed column published in the Wall Street Journal arguing that legal industrial hemp was a slippery slope to legal adult use cannabis. Although industrial hemp was made legal nationally in last year's Farm Bill, individual states still have the ability to ban its cultivation, and South Dakota is one of 3 states that has not passed any laws allowing for it to be grown. Fall River, Massachusetts Mayor Jaisal Correa, who I've talked about recently for his arrest last week on charges that he shook down prospective cannabis companies for bribes in order to get his support to operate in his town, has been removed from his position after an 8-1 vote by the Fall River City Council last night to put in place a temporary acting mayor. Mr. Correa is accused of receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes in exchange for so-called community host agreements required by Massachusetts cannabis companies. And finally for today, prohibitionist activist group Smarter Approaches to Marijuana, also known as Project SAM, was on the losing end of a decision yesterday made by a New York State Ethics Commission over the disclosure of its financial funders, which Project SAM wanted to keep secret. This one's pretty dense and packed with backstory and detail, so I'd swing over to Marijuana Moment for the full glorious read. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the lesser strengths of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.